Welcome to the Enjunears Podcast!
So tonight we're going to talk about the pros and cons of Minecraft 1.9, because 1.10 ain't out yet. Hashtag no polar bears.
Also, we talk about the newest release, 1.9.4.
And there's no Optifine, so your FPS is going to drop like the hardest dubstep bass drop ever.
All this in the first episode of the podcast coming at your face! Welcome to the Enjunears Podcast. My name is Zach, and this is...
J Hurd.
This is Justin Hurd, aka Irongineer. Irongineer.
Come on, Slowpoke, get with the game.
And we're here to just kind of chill out, hang out, and talk about some Minecraft. What do you think about that, Justin?
It's like 1:45 in the morning, so sounds like a great plan.
That sounds like a great plan to start off what could be a quite interesting presidential debate, but we're not here to talk about politics. We're here to talk about Minecraft 1.9. Some people love it, some people hate it, but we're just here to offer our opinions on it.
Indeed.
So the first thing I want to ask you about is, what do you think about 1.9 in general? What's your general thoughts about it?
It's made some major breakthroughs that I think that, some of the other major updates have, they've been impressive, but it's not been like core Minecraft. The world update kind of, changed biomes, but most people still stick to the same kind of biomes. But this one where you can dual wield and stuff affects your gameplay the entire time.
Yes, I have to agree. The dual wielding is definitely an interesting feature, but there's also some stuff they took away from 1.8. What's your thoughts on some of the stuff they took away?
I've honestly gone blank on what they took away.
Well, so some of the stuff they took away was they took away the ability to block with your sword. Now that comes with the ability to block with a shield, but that's give and take right there. I guess it would be handy to have them both, but I kind of get their reasoning there.
Yeah, you have to choose your modes of combat.
Now, I think as you said, combat. I think one of the most heated debates about Minecraft 1.9 is the new combat. Because you have to charge it up. You have to wait for whatever tool you're using to attack with to actually charge up to full strength in order for you to deal maximum damage.
Yeah, it's kind of like, the charge up for a bow in a sense. It's like, you won't... Drawing back, for half a second isn't super effective. But if you draw it up to full strength, it is. And, that kind of makes sense. But in, Braveheart, he kind of just went ham, the whole time. So...
Okay, so I wasn't talking about a bow. I was talking about, swords and
axes. I know. I'm saying, it makes sense that the bow has the charge up time, because you can't you can draw back a real bow and arrow in less than a second. But for the swords and stuff, Braveheart just destroys people in no time. So I don't know why we don't call Steve William Wallace and just go from there. But that's me.
I don't know. Steve could. I don't know. Is Steve the right height? Steve the right build? There's lots of questions we have to ask in order to call him William Wallace.
He is kind of skinny, honestly.
This is true. Yeah. Okay. But he doesn't have blue paint on his face. Not default.
If only.
Yeah, you can make him have blue paint on his face.
New skin ideas.
They can take our blocks. They can take our swords, but they can never take our freedom.
This is true.
Yeah, so dual wielding definitely changes the game. The combat system changes it again, and also I believe some of the elements were nerfed, and some of the elements were actually got stronger. The skeletons are definitely a stronger mob in Minecraft. I believe the mobs do more damage,
Yeah.
as well as the armor is. Well, that's part of the reason because the armor's nerfed.
Yes, although the skeletons do have a drawback time now. You can like kind of see them drawing back. That's a neat
Yes,
update.
that's true.
I like
That's
that.
true.
Granted, I haven't played a ton of survival, but
Now, I think I've heard some people say, the graphical, the graphical, what
effects.
is it? The graphics of 1.9 are more demanding than Minecraft 1.8.
Yeah, they are.
To where people, whenever Minecraft 1.9 first came out, people were having trouble even starting a world because it would crash on them.
Yeah, that was one of their major problems. They did help that out with a little bit with 1.9.2, especially whenever Optifine came out for 1.9.2. That helped me out a whole lot.
Yes.
But I know today in 194, because 1.9.3 and 1.9.4 came out yesterday.
Yeah.
And by yesterday, I mean less than 36 hours ago.
That would be, if y'all are wondering, that would be May 10th, 2016.
Yes. So what I've played with it, no Optifine, no mods, no nothing. On a realm and on a single player world, is that my frame rate can just be, right up around 60 and then drop down to 1. Now,
Yeah.
I'm using an i7 with a 940M NVIDIA graphics card, so it's not the best, but it's not the worst.
Well, yeah, and mine is the worst. I've got an Intel integrated graphics card, so that thing's like, oh goodness, that thing's like whatever the worst video game character you can think of. That's pretty much it.
Yep, pretty much. You better build
So,
that.
speaking of 1.9.4, you want to talk about some changes that you figured out?
One of my favorite pertaining to mini games is the scoreboard tags. I mean, not only can you be on, you can give certain players attribute tags. This has really helped out with some of my mini games that I've been building, because you can only have one player on one team, but you can add multiple tags to their name, and then that helps you do fine tuning on selections in test 4 command blocks. But
Yes. So for those who may not know, the layman who may not work with as heavy into commands as we are, could
yes.
you explain to them in layman's terms what a scoreboard tag would be?
All right. So in your mini games, you're going to have at least 2 teams, especially if you're doing competing. But you could even do it with one. But you can be on one team at a time, and this team can have certain attributes, like a name, a color, like if you can see each other's gamer tag, and different things, friendly fire. But you can only be on one team at a time. And whenever, like, I was doing your generic, like, Call of Duty style thing. So obviously we need 2 teams. But we also need, like, classes for the different,
Correct.
types of guns we're going to be using.
Pew pew.
Pew pew, indeed. So teams, they have to either be on, like, red team or blue team. But having the tags as their class that they're using has helped me out quite a bit.
So the tags are basically attributes that you can add onto the player that is already on a team and cannot be on any more teams.
Yes, it's really helpful there.
Okay. So for the layman, it'd be kind of like if you were classified as like a college college student, but then you would be a certain major. That would be kind of like what a scoreboard tag would be like your major.
Yeah, or like if you're or your year, or yeah.
Yeah.
So
so I heard
hmm.
I heard just today from you actually that they capped the TP limit. You want to talk about that?
Yes. So the other day I did some nice little griefing to Zach because he was messing around with me and being annoying. And so what I did was I teleported. Never, of course not. So I teleported his lovely self up to like 10,000 Y, and so he started free falling. And I just waited for a little bit, let him enjoy the free fall, and then teleported him to like 2 meters off the ground to myself. 2 meters off the ground, and he died because he hit the ground with the speed that he was falling. And so that was a fun little way to get him back without being too overtly obvious. However, now you can only teleport someone to a max of plus or minus 512, which is double the build limit most of the time. So
I thought the build limit was like 256.
Yeah, that would be double.
Okay.
So, and I'm pretty sure negative will apply to the nether. So.
Oh, okay. Yes, this is true.
So, but they came out with that update in 1.9.3/4 because the only difference between 3 and 4 is 4 fixed a incorrect snapshot version warning from 3.
So what was the reason? So 1.9.4 came out because 1.9.3 had something wrong with it?
Yeah, they both came out on the 10th. 1.9.3 had a few different things: stop sound, a little bit of networking, and then some bug fixes that were mostly had to deal with certain pathfinding things for mobs causing lag and filling up memory. And so, but this was also one of the things that I didn't know was coming, was that the TP command would have a limited range.
Right, and another thing you didn't know was coming. I don't know if this was just added in the previous version, but you told me something about toggling between creative and spectator.
Yes, this was actually added in 1.9, so I didn't know about it for a whole like two and a half months. You can switch between creative and spectator mode by, of course, /game mode 1 and /game mode 3. But assuming that you have the authority /rights to do this, you can hit F3, your debug button, and N. That's what it's generically set to. Of course, if you have your controls configured differently, it'll be different. But F3
Correct.
and N will let you switch between creative and spectator modes. And
that's actually pretty cool.
Yes. For just, let me take a shortcut through this mountain.
Yep. Yep, pretty much. So, let's see here. Any new things in 1.9 that we want to talk about? Oh, yes, the shield. What do you think about the shield in general?
Well, I think we kind of summed it up pretty well in your previous PvP video, which I recommend y'all go watch. But quick recap, it's really neat. It's really helpful when you're in survival and you're almost dead and you're trying to go places. But like in PvP, it's got its pros and cons.
Yeah.
Whenever you're using it, you're slower, but arrows are ineffective.
Yes.
But it's in survival. It's very nice because, it doesn't cost much. It's, 6 wooden planks and an iron ingot. And you have
1, 2, 3, 4, yeah, 6 wooden planks and iron.
Yeah. And also, it's just good because, like, running through forest almost dead with a shield is much better than running through forest with a sword trying to block it because,
You can't block.
With a sword, you like would have to time it, but with a shield, you're guaranteed to block it.
Right. So, geez, 1.9. 1.9 has caused some interesting thoughts about it, and one of the new things that's added is Elytra, the ability to glide. What do you like about Elytra?
Well, it's super fun. Like you can go pretty far. I've gone like at least 1,500 blocks, flying from not ridiculous heights. Obviously, if you teleported yourself or flew up to ridiculous heights, you could fly as far as you want to. But
now that the TP limit's capped,
yeah, you would actually have to fly there.
Yeah.
I mean, you could get to 512, but not higher.
So does this mean that you can only TP someone up 512 blocks, then TP them again 512 blocks up,
No,
or is it just cut off at 512?
It's a Y equals 512.
Okay.
So, like, I tried to teleport myself. I did a repeating command block and it had it set to go up 50, and it got me up to 512, and then I started a free fall because it couldn't TP me any higher. And it actually ran into an error and then just stopped the repeating command block.
Wow.
Yep.
Okay, so back to Elytra.
Yes. But yeah, so like it's really fun because our realm that we use is kind of spread out, and for those who know it any bit well, I can fly from my home just about to the middle of the realm near Pyro's Mega's home.
Yeah.
Which I got to say, he's got going pretty neatly with all the new end stuff going on, like the end rods and whatnot, the new blocks and
Yeah, it's definitely interesting, the new end. That's where you actually get the Elytra, is from what's called end boats. And what I saw today is that you can actually, like, okay, so usually you have to kill the Ender Dragon to actually get to the end dungeons where you can find the end boats, where you can find the Elytra.
Right.
But I heard, I gotta stop saying that, or else it's gonna sound like a pun every time. So, so you can actually bring, I think it's 2 regular pistons, 1 sticky piston, 2 slime blocks, 3 redstone blocks, and a piece of glass.
Yeah.
You can build yourself a little machine that will take you from your starting platform all the way to the end islands. So you don't even have to kill the Ender Dragon to get to the end dungeons.
Yeah.
Yeah. So therefore, it's like,
it's basically a flying carpet.
kind of. It's more like a piston racer or something like that. If you've ever seen any 1.8, like I think they had like Missile Wars or something that Sethling built.
Okay.
So they had like the missiles and all the kinds of racers and stuff that they built out of these pistons and slime blocks, and all these weird creations that look like walking like spiders and such.
Oh, like a little beach walker.
Yeah, out of pistons and slime blocks. So all they did was make a little thing, and apparently, I didn't know this, the end islands around the center end, the center where the end dragon spawns.
Right.
The Ender Dragon. It's the end islands are like, I want to say they're like 1,500 blocks, like in a radius from that center island.
That sounds right.
So the little racer goes out across those 1,500 blocks. It only takes apparently like 5 minutes to get there. And you get there, you find the end dungeon, and you go home.
Wow.
Yeah.
I mean, granted, if you kill it the first time, you get quite a bit of experience, but...
This is true. I mean, but if you don't have the resources to actually kill the Ender Dragon yet, then you might, consider doing that to get the Elytra. Because I had my survival series for a few episodes, and Elytra would be so helpful in that.
Oh, yes. Yes, it would.
So so there are some more new things in 1.9. There is a new enchantment. No, a couple new enchantments. One is called mending, which you can actually put on your tools, and while you're using one tool, the other tool will actually mend itself over time.
Yeah, it uses the experience you would gain, um, and instead of using that to build your experience, it uses it to repair your tools and whatnot.
Yes, and I think that's personally really, really cool.
Yeah,
Because for the first time, you don't have to. The anvil's not the only way to repair your tools.
yeah, and
It's actually like a quick fix method. You can keep on mining with one pickaxe while you have the other pickaxe in the other hand.
yeah, and you
That's
don't
the
need tons of diamond to fix diamond
right.
pickaxes. And,
You only need two of them with mending on it, and then the only problem is you have to have each one in both hands
yes,
in order to mend one or the other. And then another one for boots is called Frostwalker, which literally allows you to walk on water. What do you think about that?
it's kind of dandy. You just you have to start on a block equal level with the top of the water. I mean, of course, there's that little minuscule difference, but then you just start walking on ice, and it's much quicker
Yes.
than swimming.
And yeah,
Yeah.
definitely.
However, it's not the easiest to get.
Yes, this is true. And like, I don't think you can go as fast as a boat on water,
I don't think so.
because you can't run and jump, or otherwise it will disappear unless you like jump onto the front of your circle that you made.
Yes. And I mean, you can do that if you use some command, especially command blocks. You can increase your Frostwalker level. However,
Yeah.
without doing that,
Yeah.
you're only going to get a maximum radius of like 16 blocks.
Yeah.
So,
And then speaking of boats and apparently horses were fixed in 1.9 because boats and horses would not work on servers in 1.8, but now they're fixed to where they don't lag the servers as much.
yes.
Then
Also, you have different color boats.
Hmm?
You have your different color boats now.
Oh yes, you have your different types of wood that create the different types of boats
Yes.
and help you with well, I mean, they're just kind of decorative, to be honest, but
Yes.
I personally, use a boat. I like boats.
Yes.
Boats are very helpful.
In my survival worlds, I like to be around lots of water because
Yeah.
it helps whenever you need to travel and you don't want to deal with like a bunch of mobs.
Yeah. So, oh goodness, what else is new in 1.9?
I mean, for PC, beetroots are new. They were in
Yes,
PE.
beetroots are new.
You can make soup and
Yes.
red dye.
Oh, really? You can make red dye out of beets?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
That makes sense.
Yes.
So basically, beetroot soup would be like, no. What's borscht? Isn't it pickled beets?
That sounds right.
So I mean, technically, beetroot stew would be kind of like borscht.
Yeah, kind of.
If you put like salt in there or something.
Yeah.
So, oh goodness, 1.9 is very, very complicated. You have some new blocks with the new end. You have some different.
Oh,
like,
you know what we forgot?
What?
Tipped arrows.
Oh yes, we have tipped arrows now. Now there's now going back to the end. In order to make tipped arrows, you have to actually get what's called Dragon's Breath from the dragon, where he comes down and does a special attack where he sprays this like pinkish purplish particles on the ground, and then you go up with glass bottles and collect it. You collect what's called dragon's breath, and from that you can make a lingering potion, which you throw on the ground. You shoot arrows into it, and you actually get what are called tipped arrows.
Yes.
And those tipped arrows can provide several potion effects, such as like if you wanted to poison a player, but they weren't coming close enough for like a splash potion, you could shoot them with a arrow poison, and they would get poisoned.
Yep.
What do you? I think you really like the tipped arrows because you use them a lot.
Well, it's fun, and we especially use them in the shoot me not with the spectral arrows.
This is true. Yes, the spectral arrows are also a new addition into this. You can actually like see players through walls. It's almost like you have hacks, like X-ray hacks on.
Yeah, they have a little. They've been radiated.
If I know, if I ever knew what X-ray hacks look like, I'm sure it would look something like spectral.
So you've watched YouTube videos, or have you done this? You cheater!
No,
I'm kidding.
I've never done X-ray hacks.
Kidding.
If I ever do X-ray hacks, you can kick me out of the Enjunears.
Okay.
Okay, you can take my written word for it. Write it down right now on the legal document. I will sign saying I, Zachariah Robertson, will never do illegal wall hacks.
Okay.
On a server.
Oh, that's interesting.
What?
I was just reading through the 1.9 update just list. Mm-hmm. Apparently, you do 20% less fall damage if you fall onto hay.
Oh, yes.
Like a hay thing, yeah.
I did hear about that. It's kind of Assassin's Creed-y.
Yeah, it is.
A word. Falling into hay. So, of course, Go ahead.
Oh, okay. So without armor, that means you can fall like 100.27 blocks and live. And then if you have feather falling, it's 169.19 blocks.
Oh,
however, you can also just jump into water and be fine.
This is true. My goodness, 1.9 is expansive. That's for sure. Now I have to ask Justin, what is your favorite weapon in Minecraft 1.9?
1.9, it's got to be an axe. The increased damage is very much worth it for me because I usually don't get like tons of hits on people, and especially if I'm going out to do like killing cows or something in survival, it's just much easier to do that with an axe than it is to go around swinging a sword often.
This is true. I agree with you. I like the axe's increased attack damage. It is slower, but I think it makes up for it in the fact that it is increased. But I do enjoy a sword when hordes of mobs are coming after me because I can do the sweeping.
Yes, the sweeping is wonderful whenever you're fighting like 3 zombies running at you at the same time. At least 3.
Oh my goodness. So, let's see. Minecraft 1.9. What else has been added? I don't think a whole lot else has been added.
Well, there is a whole lot, but a lot of it's just like minor things like, subtitles, which really are kind of annoying to me. Like, oh, I'm now walking on sand. Thanks for telling me that.
Oh yes, you can do subtitles, which is kind of interesting. I think it accommodates more of like the deaf community.
Oh yes, it definitely does.
Definitely, because that definitely helps them to actually be able to play Minecraft instead of not being able to play because they can't hear anything.
Yeah, and I think it could be useful if you were like in a mine in the dark for like normal people.
Oh yes, it's true.
Because you could look and see like, oh, there's a zombie.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think it is definitely cool that Mojang input that for the those who can't hear well.
Yeah, that's very true. And we forgot a big part of it is the new mob and the new potion effect. You know what it is?
I mean, the new mob, Shulker.
Yeah. And then if it shoots you whenever you're in survival, it gives you a new potion effect, which is called levitation.
Yes.
And this actually, this actually can help or harm. And also, a whole lot of these can be incorporated into new maps that people can do. Like I've already seen a whole ton of Elytra maps, as well as some people doing like on the ceiling parkour, to where like you have to float underneath platforms to make sure you don't like float away. I've seen that.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's given people, new ways to play.
Oh yes.
My goodness gracious! I think we've covered most of it. I don't think we have anything else to say about Minecraft 1.9 except for, okay, so on a scale of 1 to 100, give a rating of Minecraft 1.9.
I'd give it an 88.
An 88. Okay, so it gets a high B, a B plus.
Yeah, because I give 1.9.2 an 88. Because like that fixed some of the they're fixing the lag issues. But if we all had supercomputers
Yes.
and didn't have to deal with lag, I would really enjoy it. But
Yeah.
just the memory issues and lag issues are really my only complaint with it. I'm not a very picky person. Also,
yeah, I'd give it a 79 out of 100.
That's fair.
And the reason for that would be it's a good addition to Minecraft, but there are some bugs. I mean, as I've said with all new things coming out, there's going to be some bugs.
Of course.
You can't. Okay, so I'll compare this to Windows 10. Everyone, whenever Windows 10 came out, is like, don't get Windows 10, it's full of bugs. And I'm like, you're going to expect that in a new operating system. It's going to have bugs. People are not going to have, people have been working on this in a lab for 10 years. They've been programming it, but they haven't released it to the outside world that uses it differently than they use it in the lab.
Right.
So it's going to have some bugs. They're going to have to fix it, and you're going to have to be patient. It's not going to be perfect.
Yeah.
But whenever it did come out, I had a pretty interesting experience with it. I wasn't able to start up Minecraft 1.9 Worlds because for some reason they want you to have VSync and VBOs on.
Yeah.
Now, I'm not quite sure what that's supposed to mean. VSync has something to do with frame rate. VBOs, I'm not quite sure, but they both, whenever I hear YouTubers or any people who do Minecraft, really well, they all talk about, oh, don't put VBOs, don't put VSync on. They're like, don't do that, don't do that, don't do that. So I've heard it lags you whenever you turn around real fast, and I've experienced that.
Okay, so VSync limits your frame rate, your screen's refresh rate, which is usually 60 or 75 hertz, or 120 or 144 hertz for gaming screens. And so enabling VSync will fix tearing, but it increases your input latency and causes stuttering if your computer isn't drawing enough frames per second. Whereas VBOs toggles vertex buffer objects. What exactly those? Well, like VSync, it works well when your frame rate's high,
Mm-hmm.
and works poorly when your frame rate's low.
Yeah.
VBOs, not entirely sure.
Yeah.
Just being honest.
So those two settings had to be on in order for me to play, and I had to, it was a few days before someone actually posted on a forum that they changed their settings and it worked, and I was like, okay, change these obscure settings and it'll work. And so it actually did work, and so I was like, okay, Mojang, you need to address this in something.
Mm-hmm.
Because so in Minecraft 1.9, since I mentioned before, I have a really, really horrible graphics card. My display, the driver for the graphics card keeps crashing, and so therefore it causes me to, at random times, just, my display driver crashes. I have to close out Minecraft entirely, start up Minecraft again, and this is the first time Minecraft has done this to me, I believe. And another reason I give it a 79, and there's been a whole lot of, flack it's been given, and I kind of get some of it, but I kind of, I stand with some of it. I stand with Mojang on giving it a little bit more realistic combat, because you aren't able to, in real life, spam a sword just everywhere. You're going to have to whack it, and if you want to get a good swing, you're going to have to let yourself gain some more momentum again.
Yeah, I agree there. They did a pretty good job with the balancing of the combat. I mean, it is the combat update.
Yeah. So, yes, this is true. So, I think overall we give it a B. It's not the greatest Minecraft update ever, but I think it's a pretty good one overall. They added some, really cool features that people will be playing with from now on, including the Elytra. But that is going to be our podcast for today. You still there, Justin?
Yeah, buddy.
Okay, just making sure you're still there.
Yeah,
but
I was waiting on the piece.
Oh, and from me and Justin, we bid you peace.